What's up, guys? I'm back with another reaction, and this time it's for Maren Morris's Hero. She won the last Twitter poll after very narrowly losing to Aaron Watson on the poll before. Y'all are really excited for me to listen to this, so I'm excited to listen to it too. This album's gotten a lot of attention. It's her first debut album. She's been a songwriter for years, but it got nominated for Album of the Year at the CMA Awards last year and the ACM Awards this year, and she's already won New Female Vocalist of the Year at the ACM Awards this year. They've already announced that. So for a debut album to get this much attention is very impressive. And I've heard the EP. I heard that when it came out like a year and a half ago. But I've never listened to the full album. And I know the deluxe is coming out, but I want to shoot this video today. And so I'm not going to worry about those 3 extra tracks. And without further ado, let's get into this album. Pretty much just bass at the beginning of this. So it's starting off immediately kind of woozy and sexy, and she's calling him her sugar, and she wants to taste him, and he gets her juices flowing. Got a 4-letter word on the first song. She has like a retro sound to her voice. And the way it's recorded, there's kind of that reverb that gives this a vintage feel. Yeah, I don't have a ton to say about this song so far. It's just like, it's nice and poppy, and she says the word sugar a lot. Coca-Cola on a Christmas Day is a weird line to me. That's not like a thing that I think of. I think of hot chocolate on a Christmas Day, but Coca-Cola on a Christmas Day, I suppose that would be very sweet, and we're getting a lot of sweet lines, but it's kind of a weird line. This feels like the Nashville that I see on Instagram of girls getting brunch in front of the Nashville sign. Not really like the Tennessee hilly countryside. That song's alright. I feel like it opens the album and says, this is going to be an album that's a little bit poppy and a little bit sexy. I like the phrasing on this one way more. So there's our second use of shit as a phrase on this record. The main thing I'm getting so far from these first 2 songs is that this girl clearly knows how to write songs in the classical kind of, maybe it's an LA way of writing songs, or maybe it's a Nashville way, and what's the difference anymore, right? Both Sugar and Rich are very thematic. Sugar was all about things that are sweet. Rich is, I'm dripping in diamonds, and talking about Marilyn and Diddy. They're not very narrative. They have a little bit of narrative in the verses, and then really it's the punniness of the choruses that's saying like, okay, if I had $1 for every time you done me wrong, I'd be rich. And then it's just a whole chorus of things about being rich. I wish we could integrate those a little more. It's definitely got some swagger to it, this track. And I'm going to be honest, I think a lot of critics want to dislike country music and think it's so backwards and wholesome and earnest. And so I'm guessing the fact that she says shit and stuff on this record makes them more open-minded to it. Because this record's gotten so much attention from people that normally don't give a rat's ass about country music. But it's got good melodies. At least Maren Morris was open. This record was not supposed to be a classic country record. And I'm not even like, I don't beat the drum that hard on that argument anymore, that like things need to sound country and be only country. I get it. We're in an age of Spotify, and all of genres are getting blurry, but it doesn't mean I think that little ching-ka-ching makes me really feel something. So here we have the opening single, what kind of launched Maren Morris' whole career, the song My Church. And this is a great song. So here's exactly what I was just talking about. We've got a verse, but now it's going into a chorus that has to do with the verse. It's continuing the story where she's driving and she turns on these classic country songs and it makes her feel redeemed. This is her religion, music, essentially. So this definitely has the most rooted instrumentation of any of the songs on the album so far. It feels like it's being played live in a studio. The others felt very produced. And this has a lot of production on it, but you hear a drum, you hear some guitar, and the harmonies that they layer of her over herself sound awesome. Okay, so we're 3 songs in, and so far I like this record. I get kind of this has very much a vibe. It feels like a road trip, kind of driving west album. It's sassy and spunky. I'm excited to see where the rest of it goes because right now I'm finding myself being like, okay, I need a little more substance. Wow, so this is refreshing. This song already. It's open, a little bit of guitar, a little bit of piano. Yeah, that chorus is awesome. I love that. This song to me is 1,000 times more what I'm wanting to hear from this album. I love this so far, where everyone's had the experience of driving, questioning their life, questioning their decisions, and wishing they could just hear the right song. I feel like that very artfully and gently and pleasantly kind of took me into that nostalgic, wistful zone. It's really nice that you get some vulnerability on this track. And I don't know if it's just because the women in country music for the last few years have made such tender, thoughtful, introspective albums compared to a lot of the men in country, that this is sort of more what I yearn to hear when I'm listening to a woman singing country. I don't think that's totally it. I just think vulnerability is always more believable. At least to me it is. It's like a cross between a Casey Musgraves and a Taylor Swift song right now. Because it's got like a kind of hopeless romance to it and a sort of self-loathing. Wow, that's my favorite so far by far. So I've also heard this. This is the other single that's come out. 80s Mercedes. And this does feel like a Taylor Swift song to me. I've had that thought before. You definitely get the kind of synthy, new wave bass line underneath, which fits with the whole 80s thing. So yeah, some people that I know have had like crazy strong reactions to this song. I've never had a crazy strong reaction to this song. I think it's because I saw it with the video first, and I think the video kind of does this song a disservice. It feels the song much more free and easy and like you're letting loose than the video kind of felt to me. She's interesting because she definitely writes with an element of role play. You know, there's always kind of this imagining, like, I'd be hard to get starlit, I'd be rich, that's when I'm in church, that I'm feeling kind of in her writing. And maybe that's part of, like, her magic sauce that kind of gives her appeal, is she has this way of evoking these kind of fantasy narratives. So we're already at the beach, kind of this, like, retro, like, soul reggae sound. I don't know how to describe it. I've heard this before. This was on the EP, and I love this song. I was actually the first comment on the first version of this that was on YouTube. I love that line. It's not the first time, it's the third time you got a second chance. That line just makes me laugh. That's like saying drunk girls don't cry. I like how this song sounds. I feel it's like, it feels like it has that kind of poppy, really bass heavy production that a lot of her songs do, but it's just a little more open. You know what I mean? It doesn't have so much going on. You've got the organ and the bass and the drums, and then you get all that sound during the chorus. To me, that works better than just having a big block of sound the whole song. And it's funny. I think it's also that it's so easy to sing. It feels kind of appropriately, like, flippant. She belts sometimes on this record, but there's very little of that on this song. Like, that's as big as it goes. And I think that goes with the kind of casual, like, tell-off of, like, don't take him back. Whoa, this feels like Drake or Sam Hunt. This has got to be a sex song. So she's telling a guy that, there we go, that I'm going to make you feel better. And she says, we'll start with the touch of a hand. So it's a come on, this whole song. The guy's feeling bad, and she's like, "Let me show you how it's done." Yeah, you could feel it immediately when the song started. Just the beat of it. It has kind of more of an R&B vibe, and that immediately puts my mind in like this is supposed to be a sexy song. I think that's probably why this album's getting a lot of attention. This feels very different than a lot of the other albums I've heard that from women in country music. This is a much more between like Sugar and this song and little elements throughout some of the others. You get a very kind of like sexually liberated and more aggressive kind of take on being a woman and putting on your leather and driving. It's an aggressive record in a way. I don't know if I'm as interested in this kind of like swaggering, confident artist. It doesn't matter who it is. I just think vulnerability is more interesting than swagger. And that's like a lot of why bro country falls flat for me, is just these like this machismo. I don't know that I'm getting like a very complex portrayal of someone, but maybe I am. I don't know. Guys, I want to like this album more than I do. I know better, but you know that never stopped me before. I like this because it's like confident and sexy, but it's also got this element of like, I don't know what I'm doing here. And that feels more real to me. I also like when her arrangements breathe. They're so percussion heavy that it's nice when there's a little less going on. That's a good hook. You're just another thing I shouldn't be doing. Gosh, it's interesting how much I talked on the Aaron Watson record about the instrumentation and all this stuff. You don't get a lot of this. Every track just feels like this kind of produced drum beat, a lot of background vocals, and this kind of reverb on her voice. And that's one thing that I think is making me a little quieter in some of these songs when I'm reacting. It's just like, I don't have instrumentally as much to comment on. So of course I say that thing about the instrumentation, and then this song already starts off with the most kind of authentic, rooted instrumental sound that we've gotten this whole time. I like that. That whole chorus is saying, I'm not that girl that gets all the attention, I'm not the girl that wins, but I wish I was. That's a cool lyric. Because it's presented with an element of comfortability with that fact. And insecurity. It's a cool dichotomy. Oh, this song sounds so good. It just feels soulful. The little kind of piano organ in the back is awesome. Gosh, I really like how she sounds when there's a certain, just a little bit more of a fluid, not as rangy or belty sound. I think she sounds awesome on these kind of comfortable, mid-tempo, soulful ballads. Like, the range of this is similar to Drunk Girls Don't Cry, and I think she sounds good in that range. This is definitely my other favorite song with I Could Use a Love Song. I wish this came earlier in the record because it kind of contextualizes songs like How It's Done and Just Another Thing. But it still does even here. It makes me kind of think back on the earlier songs, and I needed that little element of insecurity because I was like, no one on earth feels this confident in their sex skills or otherwise. And the song just sounds by far the best to me of anything on this record. Why do we build up all these idols just to watch? I was not expecting that kind of cadence. Wow, this is very much a pop song. With like the little ambient background, and then the beat, and then the delivery of it, and then the big chorus, and then the na-na-na-nas. This kind of feels like Fight Song by Rachel Platten to me. Like a lot of big platitudes. You're gonna have your breakthrough, you're gonna get your second wind and fly. Not feeling this one totally. That's a good line about haters though. Your words are gasoline on my fire. Yeah, it's definitely one of those kind of self-empowerment songs. It's maybe too broad for me. There's just not a ton of specifics to latch onto on these songs. This feels like Justin Timberlake somehow. The production. Gosh, it makes so much sense that she's going to be touring with Sam Hunt. Ooh, I love that it pulled back on the last line of that chorus. That felt like a surprise to me. And yeah, I'm getting the kind of yearning, like, vibe of this song. Don't forget you loved me once. Pulling back on the last line of that chorus made me feel that kind of little bit of, like, pain. I just wish the writing on this record had some specific, like a painful breakup. There's gonna be one little thing. There's gonna be like a box of plates or something that the other person gave back. There's whatever it is. That's a trite image, but it's an image. The song is building really well. That was a good belting moment. Gosh, sometimes it feels though like producers in Nashville just discovered like Pro Tools. And they're like, we gotta use all of them in every song. Because theoretically, this song is really pained. And some of the production washes that out. This is working as it goes on, kind of the beltiness. The songs all kind of come together. Alright guys, so that is the entirety of Hero by Maren Morris. Overall, I think that's a pretty good record. I don't get all the hype that's around it. I mean, to me, that was a record that felt fairly synthetic. It's delivered very confidently. It feels very much like this LA Nashville fusion that it is. I think it just leads to it being overproduced. Maybe that's why people like it and it's gotten kind of broad acclaim, is it's more palatable for someone that doesn't like traditional country sounds. I don't know. I just wanted a little more instrumentation on it. The best songs on here to me were absolutely I Wish I Was and I Could Use a Love Song. Those to me are just like leagues above everything else on here. They felt honest and they breathed. So I really, really like the songs. I really do like My Church. I think Drunk Girls Don't Cry is funny, and that's the kind of swagger side that I like. Rich even kind of works for me on that sort of same pop level. I don't know. I liked it. I liked it. I feel bad because y'all were like ravenous about this record, and so I want to like it more, but I just got to go with what I felt. This record just makes me think of brunch in Nashville. Why? I don't know. Alright guys, well I'm going to get out of here. There will be more polls on my Twitter to vote for future reviews, and leave in the comments below your thoughts on this album, your thoughts on my thoughts on this album, and any recommendations for albums I should cover moving forward, or any singles. I kind of want to get into doing singles too. I'm definitely going to do two more things. I'm going to do a review of A Legend, and Patsy Cline won the first poll, so I'm going to listen to her greatest hits and react to those. And I want to do an album I was really skeptical of, and so you all chose Dig Your Roots by Florida Georgia Line, so that should be interesting. Let me know all your thoughts in the comments, and like and subscribe and all that stuff, and I'll see you guys later.